Jaya Mahaprabhu, Jaya Mahaprabhu, Jaya Mahaprabhu. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Avnish. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavas who are listening online, and all the people who will be watching this video as well. My prostrated obeisances to all of you because you love Krishna Katha, so you're all Vaishnavas, and my respectful obeisances to you all. We'll do the Mangalacharan prayer first. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Matsamo nasti papatma naparadi cha kaschana parihare vilajjame kimbruve purushottama. Yuvatinam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvatau yatha mano bhiramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai. Bhumau skalitapadanam bhumireva valambanam tvai jata paradanam tvameva sharanam prabho. Govinda Vallabhe Radhe Prarte Tvamaham Sada Tvadiyam iti janatu Govindo Mam Tvaya Saha. Radhe Vrindavanadishe Karunamrita Vahini Kripaya Nijapadabja Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyatam. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Katanchana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam sya Shri Chaitanyam namamitam. Samsara dukkha jaladau pratitasya kama krodadinakramakare kavali kritasya durvasana nigaditasya nirashrayasya Chaitanya chandra mama dehi padavalambam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Thank you everybody for joining today's Wednesday class. So today we'll be discussing, again this week is all Krishna Janmastami. We had such a beautiful festival on Monday, and as well as Prabhupada's appearance day, 125th anniversary yesterday. So after the lockdown, it's a great opportunity to reunite and celebrate the festival with joy and with ecstasy among all the devotees. So such a fortune. So I offer my respectful obeisances again to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. And I also offer my respectful obeisances to my Shiksha Gurus and my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada for giving this passing down this divine knowledge to me and all of us. So today we will continue on Krishna Janmastami pastimes and how Krishna appeared and what we can take and what it takes to be a devotee of Krishna. So basically, if you see anything that is happening in the material world, it will ultimately leads to it will be defeated. So Srimad Bhagavatam explains Parabhavastavad jato yavanna jignasata atmatattvam yavat kriyastavad idam manovai karmatmakam yena sharira bandhaha. So parabhavas, no matter what we do in this material world, we will be defeated. How will we be defeated? So in Bhagavad Gita, we have seen Mrityu sarvaharaschaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti srir vakchanarinam smritir medha dhritikshama. So ultimately, no matter what the competition you enter, whether it is Olympics, whether it is corporate ladder, whether it is building big businesses and everything, ultimately one has to be defeated. So before the game starts, you are defeated. So that's the vulnerability of this particular material world. So a lot of people doesn't know that, and all these powerful CEOs, all these powerful leaders, politicians, and all these so-called leaders around the world, they don't know that ultimately they have to meet the parabhava. So basically they have to be defeated, right? And then we'll see, like, in order not to be defeated, or how to stay, and what it takes for a devotee to invite the Lord. So we will start with how Krishna has appeared. So Surasena is from the Yadu dynasty, and he is a very powerful king, and he has Mathura as his capital. And in Mathura there is also a forest called Madhuban, and this Surasena, he established this Yadu dynasty, and he has a son named Vasudeva, and he's endowed with all great qualities. Vasudeva is endowed with all great qualities, and Surasena married Vasudeva to Devaki, who's the daughter of Devaka, and the marriage was so good, so nice, and it was full of festivity, and there is a lot of musical instruments being played. And typically the marriages happen for a few days, and it's all festive season, right? Both the families come together. There will be a lot of people who will attend the ceremony, and then they'll be participating in the marriage. And Devaki and Vasudeva is getting married, and it is such a festival atmosphere. And his cousin brother is very affectionate towards Devaki. His name is Kamsa, and then he had so much affection that he's willing to give his own chariot for driving Devaki to the place of Vasudeva. And then so he himself comes as a chariot driver, and then he doesn't even want the driver to take her. So basically he's so affectionate that he wants to drive the chariot himself and take his sister. So it's he starts the chariot and he's about to leave, and then suddenly he will hear a Akashavani, something from the sky. He hears a voice, Kamsa, you are a fool. The voice says, you are a fool. The 8th child of your sister Devaki will be the cause of your death. And I think that's all in all. There is nothing more to be said than that. And this Kamsa, he was so happy a few minutes back, and then he completely turns into red. His eyes are like very red, like coppery eyes. And Kamsa is very, very strong, very strong. Each of his arms have the strength of 10,000 elephants, and these 10,000 elephants of Dwapara Yuga. And so we don't know, we haven't seen the the elephant of Dwapara Yuga, but I have heard Acharya say that 10,000 elephants of Kali Yuga put together makes one elephant, the strength of one elephant in Dwapara Yuga. And then he has 10,000 elephants of strength in each of his arms. So he's that powerful. And Kamsa, he went and he defeated all the demons, all these demons, Keshi demon, and all the demons around the place. He goes, he defeated, and at the verge of their death, he gives them two options: you either die in my hands or surrender to me, so that you just do what I say. So obviously, the demons, some of the smart demons, they agreed to the other proposal of, okay, at least we will be alive, for now. So they agreed that, they will be serving Kamsa's order. So that's how he goes, and he conquered pretty much all the demons, all the kings of the demons. So like that, he's so powerful, and with that powerful hand, he catches the hair of Devaki and pulls her down from the chariot, and he draws his sword out. And there is no description of the sword and how much weight it has and what is its capacity, but he's looking very, very gravely, very seriously to Devaki, and he immediately wants to kill her. So at that time, Vasudeva, he's right next to Devaki, and then he's looking at the situation, and he's very, very compassionate person. He's very intelligent, and then he says, my dear Kamsa, this kind of anger does not befit you. You are the king here, and then you have built so much reputation, and these kind of activities, if you do, this is not good for your soul. We are not these bodies, right? You are not this body. And as the creeper goes from one leaf to another leaf, we also change bodies like that. And then whatever the karma that you do, whatever the activities you do, that will carry forward to your next life, and you will be put into a very hellish situation for these kind of an acts, and your reputation will be spoiled. Why are you doing this? When he says that, Kamsa, sometimes we see a lot of people, not only Kamsa, but they are so preoccupied with sense gratification. They are so preoccupied with the material conception of life. Some good counsel doesn't even get inside them. So similarly, Kamsa did not get anything inside into his heart. And it is said, right? Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangas teshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kaman kamat krodho vijayate. So he's in krodha right now. He's in anger, and so he's thinking dhyayato vishayan pumsa. He's thinking that this Akashvani told that the eighth child of Devaki is going to kill me, and with that sangat sanjayate kama. So basically, he's in the illusion, and then basically he's in anger. And krodhodbhavati sammoha smriti vibramaha smriti bhramsat buddhinashat pranashyati. So in that condition, it's a stage by stage. First, krodhodbhavati sammoha. So basically, they'll be in the illusion. When they are in anger, they are in illusion. Sammoha smriti vibramaha. Then they will forget what is happening, whom they are around. And we can also see, right, people when they get angry, they don't see who is who or who is around them, and then they forget the relationships as well at the time. Krodhodbhavati sammoha smriti vibramaha smriti bhramsat buddhinasha. The intelligence is lost at that time, right? And he is in that particular condition. And then he is not able to sink in the good counsel that is given by Vasudeva. And so Vasudeva is so intelligent, Vasudeva. So he immediately, like, he's a good preacher too. So he knows the strategy. Now, this person is not able to get the counsel, good counsel of the soul. Then he immediately says, "Oh, you are so reputed. You are such a, a mighty king here, right? This kind of act does not befit you. Let me do one thing. You are only worried about the eighth child of Devaki, right? I will promise you that I am going to bring each and every child after they are born in front of you. I'm going to give the child to you." So this somehow, um, Kamsa could actually understand this, and he likes this kind of a deal. Okay, and then look at Kamsa. Although he's such a demoniac person, the reputation of Vasudeva is so much, the integrity of Vasudeva is so much, his character is spotless, right? He's such a great personality that even a person like Kamsa, the evil-minded person like Kamsa, believed him, because that's the reputation of Vasudeva. And if he gives a word, he will live by that. So he agrees. He agrees to the deal, and then he leaves. And Devaki was such a soft person, and very, very gentle, and her hair is being pulled like that, and then finally he agrees to Vasudeva, and then he will let go. And then, as promised, now we should also understand, what is Devaki made of here. So Devaki, they got married. This is the day of their marriage. On the day of the marriage, she hears the prophecy that in the Akashavani, all of them hears that the Lord is going to appear in her womb as the eighth child. And then she does not go against the promise that Vasudeva has made. So she's such a chaste wife that whatever my husband said, let it happen, right? So that is the reciprocation of Devaki as well. She's such a highly chaste lady with noble and gentle qualities. So then they are put in a cell, and then obviously their first child is born, and so when the child is born, they will, Vasudeva, as promised, he will take the child to Kamsa. And Kamsa, looking at the qualities of Vasudeva, he's completely melted. "Oh, Vasudeva, it's okay. I think you can keep the child, because it's the eighth child that is the problem, right? So up until 7 children, it's fine. You can keep the child." And he just let him go along with the child. So in the meantime, Narada Muni comes, and so Narada Muni is the spiritual master of Vyasadeva, who is the Trikalagna. He knows what is in the past, what is happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. So he knows everything. And Narada Muni, he has so much compassion that when he is bestowing mercy throughout Bhagavatam, whenever somebody is in need, and whenever somebody calls out for the Lord, he immediately appears there. Like Dhruva Maharaj, when he's going into the forest, he's a 5-year-old boy, he appears out of a blue, he immediately appears, and he asks, "This is the time to play with your toys," just to test the seriousness of Dhruva. And then Dhruva says, "Oh, no. If you want to help, you help. Otherwise, let me go on my own." Then he gives the mantra. So similarly, he wants to speed up. He wants to speed up the pastimes, and he wants to speed up, the death of Kamsa as well. And then, so he says, "I happen to be traveling." So the Narada Muni is now talking to Kamsa, and he says, "I am coming, I am talking, I overheard the conversation of all these demigods, all the devas, and all the sages. They are talking that Vishnu is going to take birth in the Yadu dynasty. And you know what? I also heard that, Kamsa, in your previous life, you are Kalanemi. You are the king of the demons, and Vishnu is the person who killed you. That same Vishnu is now appearing. The demigods are talking, and I overheard that conversation. You know what? I am your well-wisher. I just wanted to pass this information to you." Now, after that information is given, again, Kamsa becomes completely wrathful, is very angry. He goes to his ministers and equipped with all the weapons, he goes. So Narada, after telling this incident to him, he disappears. And then there is one king named Ugrasena, and his wife's name is Padma. So Ugrasena's good wife's name is Padma, and they are ruling the that Yadu dynasty. And there is one Gandharva named Dramila. One day, Padma goes out into a park. There are a lot of nice parks within the palace in those days. So basically, Dramila is the Gandharva, and that Gandharva looks at this wife of Ugrasena, and he gets very much attracted to her. And then he appears in disguise. He disguises himself as Ugrasena and comes to seduce the wife of Ugrasena. Now, somehow this wife Padma, she understands, she figures that out. This is not Ugrasena, but somebody came in a disguise, and she feels very, very awkward and very bad about this particular situation, and she curses him that he will have hellish life. And then after that, this particular Dramila, he forcibly makes her pregnant. So basically, even after the curse, he will forcibly makes her pregnant, and from that child is born. And looking at the child, this wife of Ugrasena, she feels so bad about the whole situation, what has happened. And as a mother looking at this child, she will curse this particular child as well. And this child is actually the Kamsa, and he'll kill that. Your own family members, you will be killed in the hands of your own family members. And Kamsa, as we know, he's very, very powerful. He grows up, and he's a yogi. He has a lot of mystic siddhis, and then all the demigods fear him. And he's also very diplomatic too. Like Jarasandha is so strong, so he marries the two daughters of Jarasandha. So that's how all the bad, wicked people, all the strong people, either he takes control of them, or with diplomacy or whatever it takes, he keeps everything under his control. And this Kamsa, with his military, he went, and he first of all he shackled both Kamsa and both Devaki and Vasudeva, and then took the first child. And this child, when they are born in the day one, they are just palmful. They're just palmful and they're very soft. Their feet is so soft. Their fingers are just developing, and they're almost like flower. Like if parents will be hesitant to even hold them, thinking that even by holding the baby will get hurt for the baby. And this wrathful Kamsa, he picks up the baby, and Devaki is holding this baby very tight to her chest, and he rips the baby from her hands, and then holding the baby on the feet, he smashes the baby on the rock of the floor. And this is happening in the cell right in front of Devaki and Vasudeva. So it is a very, very pathetic situation to see that. And Kamsa's heart is such a wicked person. And as I formally described, each arm has such a strength of 10,000 elephants, and he's smashing the babies like that to the rock, and the baby is immediately dead. And so Devaki and Vasudeva, now, Devaki might be, if at all, any mother, like thinking from the mother's aspect, if you look at that situation, this is so bad. this is so bad, after having a child for 9 months, and then they are so fragile and they die like this. They can't do anything. Usually, they stop. It's fine, no more. I don't want to do anything anymore. Children like this, they just give up. This is too much to handle for me. But look at Devaki. Her heart is, even in that situation, she's thinking that how can I please the Lord? And if the Lord appears in this world, everybody benefits. The whole world benefits. He will kill the demons and the whole world benefits. So I am suffering right now. It's okay. It's okay for me to suffer. But and they continued. And in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Rasabhadeva also is teaching his children, right? Nayam deho deha bhajam nriloke kashtan kaman arhate vidupujam ye tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shuddhed yasmat brahma saukyam tanantam. So here, Lord Rasabhadeva is telling his sons, my dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for hogs and dogs that eat the stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified. So similarly, Devaki and Vasudeva is already exhibiting those qualities, right? They are using their life for the benefit of the entire world, all the other living entities. Because when Krishna comes, everybody gets benefited. And they are putting in such a bad situation. They are completely shackled all over their bodies. They can only move in the semicircular fashion inside the cell. And there is a lot of gates, gate after gate after gate. And then he has put a lot of guards to see that they don't escape out of the gates. And in that condition, they still went on. They still went on and had their second child. And still, Kamsa did the same thing for the second child. And so this continues for all the 6 children. So who are these 6 children? They are the sons of Marichi and Urna. So they have these 6 children, and because they are born of Marichi, who is a sage, they're extremely powerful and learned. Who are they? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. So Kama means lust, Krodha, anger, Lobha, greed, Moha, illusion, Mada, madness, and Matsarya is envy. So these are the children. And because they are born of this age, they are very, very powerful and very learned. And because they are so powerful and so learned, they are so much with egoism and everything. And then they ridicule Lord Brahma himself. And Lord Brahma curses these 6 sons of Marichi to take birth in the earth as demons, sons of terrible asuras of Kalanemi. So that Kalanemi's children, all these are born. And in the next birth as the sons of Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu has these 6 sons. And one day they do some austerities to gain some benefits. But the father Hiranyakashipu is very upset. Without my knowledge, how dare you go and do this tapasya for these benedictions? And then he curses them that you will take birth in the womb of Devaki, and Kalanemi will come as Kamsa himself, and you will be killed. You will be killed by him. So these are the 6 children that Kamsa has smashed to death on the rocks with his very strong arms. So like that, first, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy, all of them are killed. And so if you see, Devaki is representing bhakti here, and Kamsa is actually representing fear. So it is on the 28th. So after these 6 children are killed, then Lord Krishna, he made an arrangement with his yoga maya that, okay, now is the time that you appear in the womb of Rohini. So Rohini is another wife of Vasudeva. She is in her third month of pregnancy. Vasudeva gives a indication that you go and stay in my brother's place, Nanda Maharaj, and that's how she goes there. And then the Lord makes an arrangement that Balaram appears as a seventh child in the womb of Devaki, and then Rohini's. So he makes an arrangement with the Yogamaya that you appear in the womb of Rohini, and then we will do a transfer. So the transfer of the child happens from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. So the representation here, what we can learn from this thing is basically Lord Balaram appears after all these things are um, removed, like Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. All these six um asuric tendencies, when they are removed, that is when the Guru comes in the form of Balaram, and he makes the paraphernalia, he makes the arrangement in the womb or in the person, so that Krishna can appear in that particular person. So that's the seventh child, and it appears as a miscarriage. Now after that, Krishna himself, Krishna himself comes in the eighth, as a eighth child. And when he comes, he appears in the mind of Vasudev, and from there he enters the heart of Devaki, and that's how Devaki gets this eighth child as Krishna. And then as time passes, one day she's so the Lord appears on the 28th Yuga cycle of Vaivasvata Manvantra in the month of Bhadra, in the prison cell, as in the prison cell of Kamsa. The Supreme Lord appears with four arms, and in these four arms he's so beautiful, so charming. His whole body is like lotus flower, and then his feet is like lotus flower, and he's wearing yellow dhoti. And then he, in the four arms, he's holding Shankha, Chakra, Gada, and Padma, all these four things. And there are a lot of ornaments, all beautiful ornaments are there around his ears, around his neck. And, he's looking so stunningly beautiful, little Krishna. And then looking at Krishna, both Devaki and Vasudev, they start praying. They start praying, offering prayers to the Lord. And Vasudeva prays, "My Lord, you appear, at your own will, at your own sweet will." And then Devaki, towards the end of her prayers, she's also praying, and look at the affection, at this time. Now let's go back a little bit and see anybody who's in the position of Devaki would naturally feel that I have gone through so much distress in my life. On the day of my wedding, instead of going and having a happy life with my husband, I was jailed. My first child, when my first child is born, after all the 9 months of pregnancy and taking care of the baby, Kamsa comes, grabs the baby, and he smashes on the floor. Not only 1, 2, 3, but like the 6 children are gone. So when the Lord comes, it's natural for anybody to kind of ask, "Please get me out of this situation. I don't want to be restricted in this cell. Please put me out." She never asked that. At that time, also she's thinking, what can I do? How can I serve Krishna? How can I please Krishna? That is her mood. So she's going through all these troubles. For what reason? Just so that the Lord is born. And when the Lord is born, it will be good for all the living entities. So that is the heart of Devaki. And in order for the Lord to appear, somebody has to go through all these troubles. Like if you see Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70 years, he traveled across the ocean. He had nobody in the United States. In the cargo ship, he traveled. He went through 2 heart attacks. And as soon as he got down, he didn't go to the hospital, right? There's nobody to receive as well. So he took up this mission for the benefit of the entire world. Now we have this ISKCON. Like if you see, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj says that, when these great souls appear, they leave the boat, right? And His Grace Srivas Pandit Prabhu nicely summarized in his offering that, few of those boats that he recollected is, 3 of them. One such boat is, Prabhupada gave us Prabhupada books in the form of books. We have Prabhupada books. With that books, we can learn anything and everything. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, Upadesha Amrita, and we have all these literature. So he gave that. That is one of the boat. And second boat is, he gave us this ISKCON, right? He gave us this nice congregation, this nice, wherever, which part of the world you go, we have ISKCON as a congregation. And third is the holy name, right? There are so many things in the Shastras for different ages. He distilled all that and he gave so beautifully. His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj left that note, and Srivas Pandit Prabhu was offering to Srila Prabhupada that these are such nice 3 boats that we are left with. We can hold on to these boats to carry forward. So Devaki was thinking about the whole world, how the whole world can benefit when Krishna comes. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada. Not only Srila Prabhupada, if you see, our temple president, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and Irakula Mataji, they take so much care and so much affection, and they go through a lot of such hurdles in order to give all of us this particular ISKCON, so we all can actually benefit out of that. Not only we, but anybody who walks into ISKCON, right? Anybody who walks into our center will have nice prasadam, will have nice Krishna Katha, will have nice congregation. And I was recollecting on the Janmastami day, after the Mangalarti, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu was saying that anybody who comes today, please go out of your way to welcome them, right? This is the day where we have to show our affection, right? So see the heart of these great pure devotees. They go through all these troubles and everything, so that Krishna is manifested. Krishna is available for everybody who walks in for the future, right? For all the other people who walks in. So it takes that to bring Krishna. So Devaki has to go through so many things. So looking at all these jewelry of Krishna, little Krishna, so soft, as a lotus flower, she makes a prayer, "Oh, my dear Lord, my dear Krishna, Kamsa has already killed 6 children, and then if he looks at you in this position, he is going to show his wrath. So please disguise as a small child, so that he thinks that you're a normal child." And immediately the Lord gives one instruction that, bring me to Rohini's place, bring me to Gokula, to Mother Yashoda, and put me next to Yashoda, and Yashoda has given birth to the Yogamaya. So bring her back here. So that's the instruction he gives. And he disappears, and Krishna disappears, and then there is this little boy, little baby, so beautiful, so soft, so charming, and so helpless. And at that time, so Vasudeva, after going through all these things, now Vasudeva, if he steps out of this particular prison, he will be killed. And let's see the character of Vasudeva here. So Vasudeva has a reputation that he keeps his words, right? If you see, he is the one who told Kamsa that every child, whoever is born, I'm going to bring it to you, right? And now the Lord says, bring me to Yashoda in a different village, and he has to cross all these places. Now he never thought what will happen to my reputation. I gave a word to Kamsa that I'm going to bring all these children, and he just left like that. And if you see in Mahabharata also, if you see some of the incidents, um, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he never lied. He never lied in his entire life, and he has a reputation that he's truthful. And once Krishna says that Ashwathama is dead, you have to tell that. You have to tell that so that Dronacharya will put down his weapons, and he will be in a state of yogic trance at the time. That is when you can actually go and kill him. So, but Yudhishthira Maharaj hesitates for a moment, right? Because he's thinking, what will happen? I never spoke lie so far. He is so truthful that his chariot would not touch the ground. His chariot wheels are few inches above the ground always. And Acharya says different opinions, but one of the beautiful opinion, they say that because Yudhishthira Maharaj hesitated for a moment, and still he tells that finally. And then when he says that, he says that Ashwathama is dead, it's an elephant. When he's saying elephant, Krishna blows his conch shell, so that those words doesn't get to the ears of Dronacharya. So that is one example of another devotee who went ahead to tell a lie when Krishna wanted it. A second example, like Bhima. In the art of Gadha Yuddha, the fight of the mace, these are all powerful Kshatriyas. Bhima is so strong, right? In the Mahabharata, it is explained that when he's so strong that once he had to come down the chariot, and at the time Karna was attacking him, and at the time, because he's not in the chariot, his weapons are not around, he lifted elephants and started throwing the elephants at Karna. And one elephant after another, horses, everything he's throwing. So such is the strength of Bhima. Now, Bhima, with that strength, they don't want to go out of these moral codes. One of the moral codes of this mace yuddha is you should not blow, you should not hit an opponent under the belt. But Krishna shows, beat him on the thigh. And he immediately, without any hesitation, next shot, he hits him on the thigh, and then Duryodhan falls down, bleeding, down, and then that's the beginning of his end. So that's the second example. So like that, Vasudeva also did not think of what will happen to me, what will happen to my word, and he followed what Lord said. So if you see the activities here of Devaki, Vasudeva, they are all how to please the Lord at every moment. How to please the Lord. It's not that what they are going through, what troubles they are going through. And if you see Kunti Maharani also, she is praying Vipada Shantu Tashashvat Tatra Tatra Jagadguru. So she's saying that after going through all these things, all these so many troubles, she's still praying that give me those vipadas, because you are now leaving us, because all our troubles are gone, and then all our enemies are killed, and then we got all this whole earthly planet as our kingdom right now under the control of Yudhishthira, and because we are safe and secure, quote unquote, now you are leaving. Now, because this is what it takes for you to go, please give us the troubles, because whenever there is trouble, you are with us. So the pure devotee never sees as a trouble as a trouble, right? And even in those troubles, these devotees does not see how to save themselves, right? Mother Yashoda could have said, my Lord, you appeared finally, eighth child, it's too late, my 6 children are dead, are gone. Now, please, first of all, get me out of this prison. Like when we are in lockdown period, we all felt how crunched we are, right? We wanted to just come out. Look at Devaki and Vasudev. 6 children means almost like 6 years. They were in the same cell. And look how much pain that they have gone through, seeing their children getting killed right in front of their eyes. So they could have asked Lord for relief. They did not. And they were thinking that, what can I do for the Lord right now? How can I serve the Lord? How can I please the Lord? Similarly, Prabhupada, similarly, our you know temple presidents and all the senior devotees. So finally, Vasudev starts carrying, and mystically, at the time, all these shackles open, and everybody in that whole village is asleep except Devaki, Vasudev, and this little baby Krishna. Other than that, everybody is fast asleep. Nobody is knowing what is going on. The doors magically opened, one door after the other, all the doors. And then Vasudev, he took the baby, and then he's going. And there is huge rainfall going on. And Ananta Shesh, he comes and he covers this little baby, and not even a single drop of water um, falls on this particular baby Krishna or even Vasudev. It is so pleasantly arranged. It's such a impossible task. And as he enters um, into Yamuna, when he's walking, the Yamuna is giving the way, so that whenever it's so turbulent, so violent and turbulent, but when as soon as wherever the step of Vasudev is being put, it is so quiet and so calm, right? And as Vasudev is carrying this little Krishna, once suddenly the boy slips out, and he falls into the Yamuna. And look at the anxiety what a father would have gone through at the time. The little baby, just born, and then slips into the water, and he's very, very intensely he's searching for the baby inside that water. And Prabhupada, in one of the lectures, I heard that Ganga is pure because it emanates from the lotus feet of the Lord. But Yamuna, look at Yamuna, it's so pure, that whole, not only the lotus feet of the Lord, but the whole, the Lord got immersed in Yamuna. So how pure it is, right? So finally, in that great anguish, in that great intense search, Vasudeva finally finds this little Krishna again. He picks him up, and then he starts walking. So when he goes to Gokula, interestingly, everybody they're sleeping there, including Yashoda. So he places the baby there. He picks up the little girl, and then he comes back. And as he's walking back, and as he's coming back, one door after the other closes. And then when he comes inside the cell, suddenly, all the shackles again binds him, and all the people, are still sleeping. The girl child, effulgent child, she starts crying. Now there is again more anxiety for both Vasudeva and Devaki. Oh no, this child is now crying. If people wake up with this cry, Kamsa is going to come. And she's crying so loudly that everybody woke up. All the guards of the cell woke up, and the cry is heard by Kamsa through his associates, and charged with all the weapons, the military. He walks very fast into the cell, and then he sees Devaki and Vasudev there. He immediately picks up this little girl child and holds her feet, and with his strong arms, he is about to smash her onto the rock on the floor. And mystically, this little child slips through his hands, and she comes up, and through the Yoga Maya, she turns into Durga. And then she expands her 8 arms with all the weapons, and we're sitting on a lion. Looking at that, looking down to Kamsa, she says that, you fool, the 8th child, the child, the son who's supposed to kill you has already appeared elsewhere. And then, so with that, he's kind of terrified, seeing Durga and everything, Kamsa is terrified. He's terrified, and so he there is also a change within himself. And the Durga also says, you mercilessly killed all the 6 children, right? The child who's supposed to kill you is already there. It's born somewhere. So he starts to think, what notorious thing that I have done, such a bad thing that I have done. And then internally he'll be feeling so bad, and he bows down to both Vasudeva and Devaki, and he begs for forgiveness. Now, just imagine the condition of Devaki and Vasudeva. In that condition, will anybody forgive a person who did that kind of a thing to anybody? It's impossible, right? But interestingly, these are all devotees, right? And they immediately forgave, they immediately forgave. And Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, 18th chapter, 48th shloka, it is said, Tiraskritva vipralabdha shapta kshipta hatapi nasyatat pratikurvanti tadbhaktha prabhavopihi. So the meaning of this is, the devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, even though they are cheated, even though they are cursed, even though they are disturbed, even though they are neglected or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Right? So this particular shloka comes in the context where Shamika Rishi, he wakes up from the trance. So basically, we all know the pastime, right, of Parikshit Maharaj. He goes, and then thank you, Prabhu, for putting that. So he sees Shamika Rishi. He wakes up from the trance of meditation, and he sees a dead snake around his head. And then his son Shringi, by the time, he has already cursed Parikshit Maharaj. Now, Shamika Rishi is so sattvic. If you see the conversation, when I'm reading that particular Bhagavatam, that whole chapter, I was thinking how sattvic he is. He didn't scold his son. I mean, he knew that his son has done something wrong, not something wrong, the major mistake he has done. He cursed, the great devotee and the emperor who's taking care of all the citizens so nicely. He's a saintly king, and he cursed such a king, and they are going to lose that king shortly in another 7 days. And then he did not scold his son, but instead he was thinking, I wish, like Parikshit Maharaj curse my son, so that it'll not happen, and my son gets some punishment. He's thinking that, but again, then he thinks about this shloka. He's a devotee of the Lord. He will never avenge what has happened to Parikshit. He'll never avenge. He's not going to curse my son, and he's feeling so bad about that. So that's the devotee. So similarly, Devaki and Vasudev, they pardons and excuses Kamsa. And so similarly, that is what it takes for the Lord to appear in one's heart. All these Garbhasuras that we talked about, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all these asuras have to go. And after that, Guru in the form of Baladev, or Baladev in the form of Guru appears to give us initiation, and then Krishna appears in our heart. And these are the qualities of the devotees. And they don't try to avenge themselves, even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed. So that is behavior is exhibited by both Vasudeva and Kamsa. So that is what how little Krishna, the Supreme Lord, appeared. And yeah, we can see even in our mind, we have these Shadgarbha asuras in our mind also. We have all these qualities in our mind, and people are thinking that it's like, in the modern day context, if you see today, if the militant group, if somebody is with guns, and everybody in a militant group where they bomb some places, and like they rape people, and they kill people, they kidnap children, and all that things, if they come to our home and then stay with us, how dangerous will be the situation. Like, we cannot peacefully sleep because they are so wicked. But unfortunately, those terrorists are within us itself. This Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all these suras are within our mind itself. And so long we have this ego and we are trying to feed these asuras, it's very hard for the Lord to appear in our hearts. And then, like following in the footsteps of Devaki and Vasudeva, we have to see, right? We have to see how to remove these all these 6 bad qualities, so that we can invite the Lord. So that is what a devotee should be. And in summary, what we can think is like, anytime we do, I like this, I want it, I don't like this. Simply, that is sinful life. If somebody thinks I like it, I don't like it, in both cases, it is sinful. But if somebody says, oh, this is dharma, this is not according to dharma, if they think like that, it is little bit of karma kanda. But like, if this is this favorable to Krishna conscious, or this is not favorable to Krishna conscious, accordingly, if we think, and if we do anything that is favorable to Krishna conscious and leave anything which is unfavorable to Krishna conscious, that is a devotee. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam. So anything that is favorable, we take, and anything which is not favorable, we reject. And any action that we do, if we do for the pleasure of the Lord, how to please the Lord, is this particular thing, any thought, any action that is coming, any activity that we are trying to do, will this please the Lord or not? Is this favorable to Krishna conscious or not? And based on that, if we make a choice, that is devotional service. But if you make that kind of a choice as a good and bad, moral and immoral, mostly it's karma kanda. But like, if you do that, I like it, I want to do this, I don't want to do this, I like this, I don't want like this, that is sinful. So we can easily summarize like that. Yeah, so with that, the appearance of Krishna, we are so grateful that we got this opportunity of having these 3 boats left by the acharyas with us, the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So with this holy name of the Lord, and also the ISKCON as a mission and as a place, wherever throughout the world you go, it's available there, temple. And we also have Srila Prabhupada books where we can learn all these things. And going back to where we started, any game we start, we are starting with a parabhava. We are defeated then and there itself. So just to avoid the defeat, the only thing that we can do is take to this devotional service, as Lord Krishna appeared, taking to devotional service. That is how we can make victory, and then go back to home, back to Godhead, or wherever we are put. A devotee never, as we have seen in the case of that shloka, Shamika Rishi was saying that in any condition, the devotee does not avenge. So for that kind of a situation, it's like always the devotee is happy and jubilant. So I thank you very much for kindly listening, and I thank the temple authorities for giving this opportunity. So now we can take any reflections or any questions.
Haribol Prabhuji, thank you so much for a wonderful lecture. You made the Krishna darshan once again. It was very nice. Prabhuji, you said that Kamsa represented fear. Devaki Mataji represented bhakti. What did Vasudev represent?
I don't have that answer on top of my head, Mataji. Basically, yeah. So Vasudeva and Devaki represents actually bhakti, because they are following for the will of the Lord. So Kamsa is representing that fear, and it is said that we should have fear for this material existence of life. So a devotee will not have any fear. He doesn't have fear of death. He doesn't have fear of losing something, anything. But one fear devotee should carry, like Devaki continuously feared Kamsa. When will he come and when will he grab my child? and when he'll kill. So like that, a devotee should always have fear for this material existence, or the problems with the material existence, or continuing this material life. That kind of fear will purify once, because Devaki had such intense fear that she was able to remove these Shatgarbhasuras, and then Lord Balram came and purified her, so that Krishna has entered. So that's how Krishna came. So similarly for the devotees. So Mataji, exactly Vasudev representation, I don't know, but we can take both Devaki and Vasudeva as bhaktas.
And
And
then in
in
this,
this,
yeah,
yes.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Please go ahead.
So in this context, the vehicle, like, each demigod has a vehicle. Like if you see, Brahma has Swan, and then Shiva has Nandi, and so all these, Ganesh has this rat. So like that, Bhakti also has a vehicle, and that vehicle is the devotees. So the Bhakti Devi can enter or travel through only the devotees. So when we come in contact with the devotees, that is when we get bhakti. So until and unless we get in touch with devotees and here, in this mode, um, we cannot get bhakti. So that is one of the other things that is said. Sorry, Mataji, you were saying something?
I was just saying, you talked about reflection, right? I was reflecting on all these 6 children. I think I have all of them, so I'm not a devotee, So how do I get rid of them and become a devotee? I feel
Yes.
like, I feel
Yes.
separation from Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, we all have that. We all have that. And so devotional service is not like a black and white, where it's not like a touchstone where you come in and you immediately transform into a devotee. Of course, that depends upon the surrender. And also, as I mentioned, any activity that we are doing, I like this, I don't like this. I like to do this, I don't like to do this. I like this person, I don't like this person. So when we start thinking like this, that is sinful. It's purely based on what I think is right, what I feel, what I think. But like if somebody is seeing the same thing, I like this because it is good, it is a moral conduct, and I don't like this because it's not good, it's not moral. That's on the karma kanda level. But if on the third level, I like this, I like this person, I don't want this, because I like this because it is favorable to Krishna conscious. I don't like this because it is unfavorable to Krishna conscious. When we start thinking in that third level, that is when we are actually entering into devotional service. Now, when we enter into devotional service and when we take these 3 boats, one is the holy name of the Lord, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And also, read Srila Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavatam. And as soon as, you start reading Bhagavatam, Pravishta Karna Randhrena Svanam Bhava Saroruham Dhunoti Shamalam Krishna Shalilasya Yatasharat. The moment somebody starts listening to Krishna Katha, Bhagavatam, or reading Bhagavatam, it enters the ear holes of the person and establishes a loving relationship in the heart and removes all the things that are troublesome to the heart, like lust, anger, greed, all these Garbhasuras. And it gives a feeling as if in an autumn season, there is a rainfall and a pool of muddy water. It feels so nice. So like that, it's a gradual progress. The more we surrender, the more we make our I like and don't like matching to what is favorable to Krishna conscious, what is unfavorable to Krishna conscious. I am taking up this job because I have to earn money so that I can go to the temple and do my devotional service peacefully. That is because you are liking in the favorability of the Krishna consciousness. But I am taking up this job because they are paying more so that I can buy a better house, better car, so that I can party more with people. That is sinful. So when you do these kind of thing, automatically the Shatgarbhasuras, it's not like, over a snap of a time, but like, as you take these 3 boats, and then you start chanting, and then you start reading the books, and Bhagavatam gets the purifies our heart, and in no time these Shadgarbhasuras will leave. And when that happens, we get, and each time when we are bothered by these Shadgarbhasuras, we should be fearful. We should be fearful how precarious we are, like how desperate we are in this particular material world, right? So each time we get anger, each time we get envy, we can think how vulnerable we are, and then we can take shelter of Krishna and say, hey Krishna, please, please, these are the vulnerabilities I have, and I'm taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'll the more you listen to Krishna Katha, automatically these things will be dropped in due course of time.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Kautukarna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guruji, thank you for the class. It was really, really nice. I really liked how you presented the mood of Devaki and Vasudev and how we can learn so much from their mood. I also liked the explanation of the 6 children of Devaki. Even though they were they were originally sons of Marichi, even though they were born to a sage and they were so learned, because of their pride, they had to become demons. So pride is pride can make us fall from anywhere, and that is why we need devotee association. So I like that point, Prabhu. And I also liked your explanation on that Vasudev, he followed what Krishna said to him. I really loved that explanation, how you said that although he had given his word, he was known to be truthful, but he did not hesitate to follow the will of the Lord. And you compared it with the behavior of Yudhishthira and Bhima in Mahabharata. So that was really, really, really nice, Prabhu. I thank you for connecting that dots. I wanted to just add one more comment there, that how Vasudev, by following Krishna's instruction, he got freed from the shackles of Kamsa, and then he came back and he was again entangled in the shackles of Kamsa. So similarly, even a devotee, he might be externally shackled in the material world, but because he's following Krishna's instructions, he is actually Jivan Mukta, even while he looks like he's entangled in so-called material life, but actually he's liberated. So I just thought of that.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Guruji.
Nice addition what you made, and yeah, that's what we have to aspire. And Prabhupada said, right, for a devotee, even if he goes to hell, there is no problem. He will be chanting Hare Krishna there, and when you chant and when you remember Krishna, there is no troublesome. There is nothing. There is no ignorance. Whether you are surrounded by the so-called good or bad of this material world, it is immaterial, because you are in touch with the holy name, and you are hearing and you are remembering Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Acyuta Kumara Prabhu. Nice, very nice lecture.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. I was reflecting on those, you described that over the generations, how those 6 sons, right, of Marichi came, and one interesting thing you pointed out there, that they were all very learned. And when we, and my reflection there was, when we learn for the sake of showing off, it can give birth to, it makes our false ego very strong, and we disconnect ourselves from Lord Krishna, and then it gives birth to all those bad qualities. So the birth of the bad qualities actually comes from that false ego, which again is the result of the knowledge, you gaining knowledge for showing off rather than for purification of yourself. Just the reverse effect happens.
Mhm.
From the knowledge. Instead of purifying yourself, you are creating a lot of impurities within you because of the
Yes.
showing
Yes.
off the knowledge. Yeah, this is very, very, very nice point you brought that up. That lineage was very. I was reflecting on that lineage, that how from great learning, it did not purify them. Instead, they were kind of, I think they were defaming Brahma. That's what you said, right? Who is the creator of everyone. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. And it also explains in the current generation, if you look, right, all these, great sportsmen, all these people, business people, whether, whatever the so-called success that they may be having, whether they're millionaires, billionaires, or whatever the power they hold, on the controlling of the situations under their control, it's all parabhava, right? So basically, at the end of the day, they're all defeated. Death takes away everything, and all these shadgarbhasuras, anything, one can lead the other, and then it's like a cyclic thing. They can go down. But like, if we take shelter of the holy name, it is said, Dhyayam sada paribhavagnam abhishtadoham tirthaspadam shivavirinchinutam sharanyam vrityartiham pranata bala bhavabdi potam vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. So if we hold on to that boat of Lord Krishna's lotus feet and holy name, we can cross over the ocean of nescience with that. So that comes in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes, that's the ultimate goal, to chant the holy name in a pure consciousness.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, when Ashley Prabhuji was saying about, reflecting on the sixth sense, the other thought I had was, the amount of pain that you reflected on, that Mata Devaki might have experienced when each kid was dying. That getting rid of each one of them is going to be painful. It's not going to be a happy or comfortable journey.
Yeah. And also, like, to see, like, when we hear of these great devotees, the pure devotees, we can relate, right, what they have gone through, and what we are going through in today's life. Nothing can compare to that, right? Or whatever the troubles that comes to our path, we can correlate. Look at Devaki, she has endured so much. And look at Draupadi, she had such a valiant, great husbands, most powerful warriors. And all those five husbands are actually previous, in the previous ages, they are Indras. Each of them was an Indra. And then so great are they, so much reputation they have, so much power they have, but still they are just sitting there, just to abide by dharma, because Dhritarashtra is the king on the throne, and he's supposed to decide. And then they lost the betting match, and then Draupadi is being disrobed. It is such a humiliating situation for both, for the Pandavas as well as for Draupadi. But ultimately, Draupadi also tried every possible things. First, she's a Kshatriya woman, and physically she fought. She fought with Dushasan, and then later she asked the council, each and everybody she asked, and with logic and everything she's trying. So first physically she tried, then with logic and argument she tried. After everything failed, she finally took shelter of Krishna. So when we see these situations, when we come to the when we have the problems that we go through, and when we apply logic, when we apply our own strength, our own mental capabilities, we are still bound, we are still limited. But when we give up, when it's not like when we blindly give up, but when we take shelter of the Lord, who is the Supreme Lord, then automatically, that is the actual Sharanagati. And as we progress in our devotional service, we can apply, where we are falling short and what to do, and whom to take shelter on, and then get counsel from senior devotees, mentors, in the devotional circle. So that way, we can be on track.
One thing that attracts me on when I meet any of this you know, these higher devotees, just the peace on their face, you know, it's just like nothing can disturb them. You know, it's like small things like bother us. You know, kid has a cough, and you know, and I'm like, oh my god, what is that? And I mean, the peace is amazing. But Prabhuji, what do Acharya says about, you know, it's described that Yamuna that day was very, you know, like filled with energy and a lot of, was pretty violent, right?
Hmm.
What do Acharya say then about that and the fact that it was raining so heavily? Does that represent something or?
Could be Mataji. I at least, you know, in my reading, I haven't came across, or in my listening to the pastimes, I haven't come across. So if I tell something, I'll be speculating. But one thing is, you know, even though the Yamuna was violent, because the Lord is held by Vasudeva, wherever he stepped, it was so calm, so peaceful. So
Very nice lecture, Prabhuji. Thank you.
thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. I think no other comments or questions. We can end here. Panchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Yeah, if I made any mistakes in narrating this great pastime, please forgive me. And if you like anything in this lecture, it's you know, all glories to my Shiksha Gurus and Guru Maharaj.
His Grace Acyuta Kumara Prabhu ki
Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.